Welcome, welcome everyone. Claire Wasserman here, founder and author of Ladies Get Paid. We're an educational platform, global community, and book all about helping women level up. My purpose here is to help you make more and live better. And there's a lot of ways to do that, which is why I like to host lots of events. This is our Monday motivation. So every week now, I am hosting a job seeker support group where we have a bit of a different theme each time, where I give a talk and then answer questions. But for this one, for those of you watching after the fact, whether it's in Circle or on YouTube, we're going to just do the talk, going to stop the record and then break out. So if you're not coming live to this, I highly encourage you to do that. It's free. And again, my purpose here is to help you make more and live better. But the topic I wanted to discuss today, it's networking, because I realized, first of all, there's a statistic that you all may have heard of, which is that about 80%, I don't know how true it is, but 80% of jobs are filled internally, okay, or by referral. So what that means is even if they're posting the job online, they're saying they're posting it online, they're really only reviewing candidates that came in through employee referrals, where people on the teams that I think you should meet, and they bring them in, or they're promoting from within, but legally HR says you have to still post the job application online. This may be a big reason why people, I get this question a lot, where people email me and they go, I'm not getting even an interview. That could be because these jobs that are being posted, they're not actually interviewing anybody. Now, it's not to say the system is rigged. Listen, let me tell you about the system. The system is just relationships. Even in reflecting on my own career, all of my job opportunities that I ever got, okay, they all came through relationships that I built. And my concern for folks is that you are waiting to build the relationships when you need the relationship. And you feel like it's transactional, and that feels gross. Of course, it is transactional because you weren't doing it over time, right? So I'm here to just break some stuff down, make it as tangible and as enjoyable as possible to build your network without feeling, oh God, another thing I have to do on top of everything else. The other reason I wanted to talk about networking today was a few things happened last week that made me realize I've done y'all wrong. I needed to be talking about this stuff. There was something that was good that happened and something that less than optimal happened. Let me tell you about the good thing that happened. I posted on Facebook that I was looking for speaking opportunities. And there was a guy named Carl who I barely know. I met him many years ago, reached out and he said, hey, I go to a conference every year for financial advisors. Typically is a lot of men. They really could use hear your voice. I really think you should be part of it. Can I make the introduction? Which he did. I don't know if I've gotten the speaking engagement yet, but if I do, apparently they pay very well. Wow, what a great ally that he did that. But let me tell you a few things here. First of all, I put myself out there. So I posted explicitly what I was looking for. I made it easy for people to help me. So that was great. And number two, Carl reaching out, he asked my permission first. That was very important. So he didn't just throw me on an email chain and just say, hey, y'all should meet. Like, he wanted to know if this was appropriate. Love that. Now, third of all, you might think to yourself, wow, Carl, what a nice guy, which yes, he was. But this made Carl look good to the conference organizers because he got to reach out to them and say, I'm thinking about diversity for you guys. That was a value add for them. And the best people to build relationships with, people who are very strategic, and I'd love y'all to be thinking about who can you connect with, are people who run conferences, who run communities, who run groups, okay? Why? Because they are very well networked themselves. So if you connect with, I call them portal people, by the way. If you connect with folks whose job it is to know a lot of people, when you help them, whether it's, I'd like to recommend a speaker, or can I help volunteer or check people in, or what can I do to support you? Can I spread the word about your conference? Whatever it is, whenever you're in need later on, and you can't think of the person like, gosh, I really am looking forward to connect with somebody who does X, Y, and Z, but there's nobody in my immediate network that fills that. Chances are that portal person, right? That conference organizer, that community leader, they might know the person. And that is the whole point about networking. It's, yes, building individual relationships, but it's learning how to tap into their networks, right? It's all about leveraging these different kinds of networks. And it's about building a diverse group of people that you know, so that you're never stuck. You're never in a position where, man, we all know the same people, because we got to make introductions for each other so we can continue to expand who we have exposure to. So that was the good thing that happened this last week that made me realize, let me tell you about what to do when it comes to networking. Okay. The less than optimal example this week was a few folks who reached out to me and just said, can you help me? Can you post about my resume? I need a job. That's not how to do it. I don't know who you are. Can you imagine if I did that for, it's just wild to me. Or can you career coach me for free? It's just, this is where I want to be very clear with everybody. I do want you to reach out to people you don't know who you admire, but there is a way to do it. Okay. And I'm going to tell you what that way is. So it's not that stay small, only network with people on your level, but at the same time, you can't just email somebody randomly and you've offered them nothing. They don't know who you are. How do you incentivize them to want to help you? You can't just be a taker. However, asking somebody for support, don't think that inherently means you are taking from them. Okay. So how do we set, so here's the big question is, how do we set networking up to be a pay it forward, reciprocal, right? How do I help you help me? We're all paying it forward thing so that nobody feels used. All right. That's the big question. So first and foremost, I want to just establish a baseline. Anybody who's successful in life knows that it was through relationships. And I have found, and I'm curious, by the way, if you're watching this live, jump in the chat, or if you're doing this after the fact on YouTube or in Circle, I'd like to hear from you. I have found the most successful people that I've networked in my life, they are the ones who respond the quickest to me. They're the ones who often are the most generous to me. People I can't believe are responding to me. And it is because, well, A, I've reached out to them in an appropriate way, but also they know the value, the absolute crucial value that networking plays in building a career. Okay. So it's very interesting. So keep that in mind. It's a necessary component. Also, if the word networking itself conjures up feelings of ickiness or, again, transactional, using people, just replace it with connecting, community building. You are community building. Okay. The other thing is go into the idea of the experience of networking as not as what can I get from this, but who can I help? All right. That's the crucial part. So when you come to an event like this or any interaction you have, of course, you're going to have your own agenda. Of course, I'd love for you to express what that agenda is, but just flip the script a little bit and think about who and how many people here can I help support? I want to just start with who do we already know? Because so oftentimes we're in this, I'm going to only focus on the people I don't know or the opportunities I don't have. Again, it's not about who you know, it's about tapping into who they know. Go export your LinkedIn. I don't remember how I did that. You can Google it, but there is a button you can press where everybody that you're connected to on LinkedIn will go into a spreadsheet. Speaking of spreadsheets, I encourage you to create a system for yourself where you're keeping track of everybody. It's going to be very tedious at first to do this, but it is well worth it. Seriously, make that a priority this week to carve out time, just an hour every day, where you are going through all of your contacts, your LinkedIn's, who's in your phone, your email, et cetera, people you've texted with, okay? And you can create your own spreadsheet of the people, but you can also go through templates like Airtable. Also, I think Notion probably has them, where it's customer relationship management, right? Like when you think about Salesforce, they're worth billions of dollars. They are a system, a customer relationship management system for people who do sales, who need to track who they know, the relationships they're building, and when and how to leverage them for sales. Yeah, do, and Teal has it as well. Yeah, check out Teal. Treat yourself the same way that a business would, where you are building relationships to make money. Again, don't feel like it's transactional because you are going to be helping these contacts too. And you never know who knows who and what, when and where you could use the help. But the only way that you're going to be able to be useful to folks is if you have a sense of who's in your network. I'm going to tell you why that's important in just a minute. So again, first step, go get all of your contacts organized. Even if you're looking at them going, I have no idea how I'm connected to this person on LinkedIn, doesn't matter. You are connected to them. So just put it in a spreadsheet, okay? Then I want you to think about your goals, because networking, relationship building can absolutely take over your whole life. It did for me. It turned into my career. So I want you to be very clear with yourself about what's the point of all of this. And I would start with, what do you want to learn? What do you, about everything, about if there's an industry you have an interest in, or there's a certain company that you're intrigued by, or a process, like how is compensation determined? These questions that you have don't have to be absolutely specific to your, so we are anything that we want to learn in life, because that's going to be a great way to connect with people. You're going to come with curiosity. And so it doesn't have to be like, I need this job here at this place. And of course you can start there, but just anything you have an interest in. You have an idea about starting a business or scaling a business, who can help you? Go on other places to find interesting people. Our conference websites doesn't mean you have to go to the conference, just go to the conference page, okay? By the way, if you're ever looking for sponsors as well, if you want to get brand partnerships or people who donate money to you, go to the sponsor page on conference websites, and you're going to see a bunch of, I appreciate you people sending me notes telling me I got this. You people, not to say you people, I love you all. Those are interesting people too, right? Because by the way, companies that are sponsoring conferences have money. So also, if you're interested in working at companies that are hiring, chances are they may be sponsoring conferences. They may be sponsoring podcasts. That's also a great place to find influential people. Podcasts, go on Twitter as well. Doesn't mean you need to tweet. I don't tweet. That shit is a cesspool, but I use it like a Google search, okay? You put keywords in, you start following interesting people, you see who they're following. You can make Twitter lists, keep that organized, okay? Go put up alerts for recruiters. So just make it a priority for yourself to do a collection, right? Where you are just starting to collect interesting people doing interesting things. Now we'll get to the outreach in a minute, but I want you to be organized. First and foremost. Okay. Also, by the way, any kind of meetups, I mean, you get it because you're here. So going through Eventbrite, et cetera, but have a place where you organize it. And then think strategically about, where can I get the biggest bang for my buck? Who would I reach out to that might have good information to give or a connection to make for me? Okay. But before we reach out to them, I want us to look at our contacts. And the reason I want you to really look into your contacts is a way for you to be very helpful to people is by connecting them to people. This is the most game-changing advice I could probably give you when it comes to networking. It is how I built my entire career. Because when I say to everybody, you got to pay it forward, you got to offer support, you have to be helpful. Of course, the response is, A, I don't have time. I'm very tired. You're asking me to help other people. I need to help myself. I hear that. Second, you're thinking, well, I don't have anything to offer. Connecting and making introductions to people is a way to provide massive help in less than 5 minutes. So that solves the problem of I don't have time, as well as I don't have anything to offer. You might only know 5 people, let's say, okay? Because that would be another response. I can imagine somebody going, well, I don't have a big network. It's not quantity, it's quality. And you never, ever know who and how somebody can be helpful. And I think there's people here who know what I'm talking about. Well, how many lives that have been changed from a simple introduction? I have that in my life. There are people who've just been, hey, have you met? You guys should know each other. And then all of a sudden we're getting brand deals. Or I make an introduction and guess what? Those people are married and have kids now. I've done that. Okay. Took me 5 minutes or less. And here's the other awesome part is I didn't just help that one person that I asked, hey, can I make the introduction? I helped 2 people. So this is the most efficient and effective way that you can start building your network. What it also does is you become, the only way I can describe this is it feels almost like a web that you're building, okay, where you make these introductions to each other and all of these networks start getting connected. Because again, those two people who meet, now they're combining their networks because they may not be able to ultimately make something happen, but perhaps they say, hey, let me introduce you to my friend. But it all started with you. You became that 6th degree of separation. And I find opportunities all of a sudden get caught in the web and will bounce back to you. And you're going to feel like it's fate or luck. You set it up, but it might have been 3 months ago with that one introduction. Okay. Ladies Get Hitched. Yeah. There were 2 women who met through Ladies Get Paid who got married as well. And not just me, somebody else. So that was also, it wasn't me making an introduction, but it was creating an environment where people could connect. So I also want to talk about that in a second. But here's the question. Is there an etiquette to making connections? And there absolutely is. And there's a number of you here who have come to my classes before. You've heard me say this, but I feel the need to say it again. Also, where are my people who want to take over my screen? Come at me. Now I'm waiting for it. So disappointed. Okay. I'm going to cut all that out of the recording when I send this to you guys. So the etiquette to making a connection, all right, to making that introduction. First and foremost, don't make promises. So let me give you an example. We meet, I ask you, how can I support you? It's always one of my first questions. And not just because I'm a career coach and do what I do. This is a question we should all be asking each other. How can I support you? Or what do you feel like, what are you looking for in life? That's a big question. I'm thinking in my head immediately to my spreadsheet, who do I know? That's why it's good to have this shit organized. Who do I know? Now, I don't say to them, oh, I have the perfect person for you to meet. Her name is blah, blah, blah. No. Why do I not do that? I didn't ask permission to blah, blah, blah. Okay. To my friend. She may be very busy right now, and this isn't going to work for her. But I will say there may be some people I can connect you with. Let me think about this. Let's exchange information. All right. Or whatever. Then I go to my friend and I explain to them why I feel like this person could be helpful for them. Right. Or, hey, I don't know if they can be helpful, but you'd be great for them. What do you think? If they say yes, when I make the introduction, I'm extremely specific and clear about who everybody is and why I'm connecting them, starting with my subject line. Because at the end of the day, everybody is just so busy that the worst thing you can do is to not give context. And I have been put on chains of 5 people. God bless this man who did it. I love him, but he just had 5 women he put on a chain and he said, you all do lady stuff. You should know each other. The silence, it was awkward. It was a game of chicken is what happened because nobody wanted to respond to the email. Of course, I was the first one, but we all felt, oh God, put upon, because now we had to spend time figuring out who everybody was. So you be clear, you hyperlink people's names. This is what they do. Here's what you can get out of, etc. And also a 5-person chain. That's a lot. There needs to be a leader in this. So anyway, enough of that rant. Again, love that man. He's a mentor of mine. You make that introduction, but here's the thing. As the person who has been introduced, you have to recognize the social capital that has been spent by the person who made the introduction. And you need to do well by that, meaning you have to follow up. And that's what's so shitty is I've seen people who seem lovely, say they need help, are excited about the introduction, but then they don't follow up. And then meanwhile, I look like shit because I made that introduction and now this person's just silent. Or people do connect, have a great experience, but never tell me as the original connector. So follow up, follow through, be grateful, and pay it forward. You'll remember now that person put themselves out there, might have only taken them 5 minutes, but they made that introduction for me. Even if that intro goes nowhere, keep that person in mind as somebody that you should help with your introductions. Okay. You can become extremely valuable doing this. And again, it doesn't take long. And not only will you get into a habit of this, you may find that you might actually want to start hosting something. And let me tell you about how I did this. I had a group of friends. We all considered ourselves connectors. And we realized we should maybe make this a little bit more official because there would be a time when people would need something like, hey, I'm hiring or I need or I'm looking for a job or client or whatever. How do we send out the signal to this group of connectors so we can start helping one another? So actually even got a little email chain going, BCC email chain. I think there was 20 of us. And that periodically we would put things in a spreadsheet. It was Ladies Get Paid in the beginning, where we just self-organized. And yes, we all happen to be in a position where we were connectors. We all were running different communities. Like we were those, as I said, portal people. But it was a little easier for us to tap into each other's networks. But it doesn't matter. Like I didn't come out the womb like this. I had to build networks. And again, the way that I did it was, how can I support you? And then thinking, who can I connect you with? Or even hosting an event. That's why I started Ladies Get Paid. Do it even virtually. 6 people. Okay. Ask each of them to bring 1 to 3 people. And then each of those people ask them to bring 1 to 3 people. And then I'll give you some networking. You can do a round table a round robin or breakouts of. A great one is ask and offer. Here's an ask that I have of the group, something I need help with. And then here's something that I think I can help everybody with. Another fabulous way to do that is by helping to share the things that these portal people are doing. So again, to define a portal person, they are somebody who's very well connected, usually at the intersection of a lot of different folks, community organizers, they run groups, they run conferences, et cetera, et cetera. They're probably posting about what they're doing. Share it. Hey, there's this Monday event. Come on. People have done that here. You get to know them that way. There's Genevieve, for example, like she's been fabulous in sharing these job support groups. And then I reposted her and I was like, y'all should hire Genevieve. I am much more inclined to help you if you have helped me than somebody emailing me privately going, I need help. Can you post my resume? I'm not even sure they said thank you. So it's like, just easy. Share what that person's doing. Spread the love or send them encouragement. Hey, I joined your group and I've gotten a lot out of it. I just want to tell you I'm a supporter. Fabulous. That's a way to start the relationship. Now, you want to be consistent over time, right? So it's not just, hey, you're awesome. Can you help me? Because that's going to seem a little transactional. So give it a little breathing, consistently follow up, but really is not going to take you as much heavy lifting as you think it might. And it doesn't require you to go in person to any of this. I've had a number of people reach out and say, I'm immunocompromised or I can't go to events. I feel like I'm at a disadvantage. And I would imagine that there's people who are here today who've gotten a lot out of virtual events, more so than in person, because you can just connect with so many more people. I have more to say on doing outreach to somebody of influence that you would like to be more of a sponsor and a mentor, which I want to reserve for another time. This was just an initial, like how to approach networking and start by connecting people. And that will build that like safety net, that boomerang network I was talking about. But in another session, I will talk about explicitly what you can say in an email to somebody that you want to perhaps have lunch with. Yeah. And Jerry, thank you for commenting. So let me share with you that in another session, but hopefully this was a good start, good foundation to networking principles. I apologize for the people who joined, who we didn't want to join. Yeah. So I'm going to use this as a really good teachable moment right here that just really underscores the point that I'm making. Somebody just said, Claire, you might want to network and see if someone would be willing to moderate these discussions as a way to show off their Zoom expertise. Well, Alexa messaged me. I hope it's okay, Alexa. I've just said your name out loud because it was a private message, but you said, I'm happy to moderate this call on Mondays to make sure the trolls don't take over our time. So let me explain why this is amazing. And I'm just going to completely put words in Alexa's mouth. So let's say Alexa starts helping to moderate these Zooms, okay? Now, I don't know what Alexa wants to do, if there's a certain kind of job or position she or they are looking for, but guess what? This could become something they put on their resume. Like they can be like, I help facilitate these job support groups. We'd have to discuss, I don't have any budget, so I'd have to be okay with them volunteering. But if, it's within their building skills or something that can add to their resume and they'll be able to leverage it for a paying job soon, great. So that's an awesome way. And then also Alexa and I are networking too. So not only are they helping me and adding things to their resume and experiences that they can leverage, but I'm going to now be way more inclined to be like, yo, Alexa, what are you looking for? Let me connect you for a job. So this is just, and now again, think carefully about what it is that you want, what your bandwidth is, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not just throwing yourself out there and going, I want to volunteer for all this stuff, because I know we need to be careful with our time, energy, and get paid for stuff. But if you have worked backwards from, I am looking for introductions, exposure to a certain industry, I'm trying to pivot to a new industry and I really need to add some stuff to my resume, this is a great way to do it. You've just, I hate the expression. Can we come up with a new expression of killed multiple birds, two birds with one stone? It's so violent, but you're able to accomplish a lot with just the act of offering service. So there you go. Cool. Now let me tell you about catch two birds with a nest.